Hello sewing friends, welcome back to my channel Creating Hanley. I'm the Hanley of Creating Hanley. And today we are going to continue our Crumb Block adventure. Yay! So, what you saw down here, what I put together, this right here is what we're going to work on. So with that, what we're going to do is create, so we're going to use strips. So the last episode was using strips, scrappy strips in a log cabin-esque style. Not really log cabin, but log cabin-esque because it kind of went around. Actually, I have it right here. So you can see it kind of goes around, not really, but a little bit. So that's log cabin-esque. But this style is just going to be strips straight across. So we're doing our scrappy strips, but it's just going straight across. So in vertical. You could, if you wanted to, after it's all complete, you could turn it horizontal. Wait. Horizontal is this way. Vertical is this way. Yeah. Kim, when you stand up, you're vertical. All right. Got it. Well, you know, it is midnight, and I've been working all day, so there's that. But anyway, so yeah, you can put them together any way you want, but I'm going to do them this way. So I'm going to take you down to the workspace and show you how to do it. So move this camera around so you can see the machine here, and you can see how I'm putting these together. So here's the 6.5 inch measuring, and these pieces are just barely 6.5 inches. So I'm gonna have to be very careful when I sew these together that I get the entire length of it. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit short, and it actually may end up being a little bit short. But I'm going to start by putting these two pieces together, because I want to get the full length of this. I want to make sure this is like my keystone piece right here. I want to make sure I get the entire length of that. So I'm going to iron out any of the wrinkles, and then I'm putting it together like this. So you can see that these two are on a little bit of a diagonal, and so this is super thin. So I'm probably going to lose a lot of that. Well, not probably. I'm definitely going to lose a lot of that fabric in the seam allowance. So we'll see what happens. But I have extra fabric here, so I'm not really sure how much, I didn't do any of the math, so I don't know how much shrinkage there's going to be. So I put extra strips down just in case I run out of room. I did not want to be scrambling while on camera. So, let's just get going here. Let's just get right into it. Alright. And by now, if you've been following my series, I like to press. Finger press is just not enough. See how it bounces up? It's just not enough. Uh-oh, there goes my other rule. So I'm just going to keep it flat by ironing in between. And then we're going to put this piece on. So this goes here, flip up that on there. Now these are getting a little bit in the way, so I'm going to move those out of the way. And then I kind of want to make sure that this edge is lined up. So this is the edge that I want to make sure is straight and lined up. Uh-oh. Malfunction. System malfunction. My thread came out of the needle. Let's rethread this very quickly. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes the bobbin jumps around too, and sometimes the machine just needs cleaned, and sometimes you just have to take the thread out and rethread it. Whatever. It's a thing. It's a machine. There we go. Alright, so actually what I like to do sometimes after doing that is put a leader in and just let the threads start to happen first. So if there's any like kinks that need to be worked out, they're worked out. All right, here we go. That's great. Now, I cut that, yeah, I cut it too short. So that seam allowance was like super thin. It was even less than an 1/8 of an inch. So that's not, I want to keep it at least 1/8 of an inch, if not 1/4. So we're going to redo it. Just to make sure I catch all the fabric on the back, and I do. Now, one way you can test that is when you open it. See, it's not strong. That pulled apart super easily. So I'm going to lose a lot of fabric. I lost it on the ground. Okay, guys, so this stuff happens, and you can just see, like, in real time what goes on. This is not behind the scenes. I'm not editing. This is real time. So let's just do a 1/4 inch seam allowance here just to make sure I catch all of the fabric in, and I'm losing a lot of that strip in the seam. So that makes that seam even, or that piece of fabric even smaller. So you can see it's super small, super narrow down here. And then this piece too. This piece barely even covers over what I just sewed. Okay. Barely. So let's really get a good pressing here. And this one I'm going to use steam. And if you want to, you can even starch. I'm not going to starch because the product I use, it takes a little bit of time to dry. So I don't want to take that much time on film right now. And I'm not going to trim the edges just yet. You know how I like to trim off these loose threads. They just annoy me. But I'm not going to do that just yet. Okay. So, there we go. Just getting a little bit wonky here. So I'm going to clean that edge up by using this bigger strip. So if I keep putting these small strips on, do you see how wonky this is getting? So I don't want to keep putting on these small strips and it just get wonky. So I'm going to temper that by putting a bigger chunk on, a bigger strip right here. And one way you know that it's in the seam allowance is by flipping it over. And you can see this little purple right here. That is the fabric underneath. And so I want to make sure that I get everything in this seam allowance. Which means I may lose a lot of that right at the end there. In fact, I'm pretty sure I lost. Oh, there we go. Look how I thought I lost that all at the end, but I did not. But that's a miracle. Okay, so press it open, steam it, press it. Okay, now I can add another small piece if you want, or you can add a bigger piece. I'm going to use this black. So see all these like extra threads hanging off, the fraying? I don't like the fraying, but that's what I'm working with right now. So again, I want to make sure that this part is lined up, and this is not lined up. That could be a problem. In fact, that probably is going to be a problem in a little bit. So I want to make sure I get, and this had enough fabric on it, so I didn't have to cut that short. That was my error. Guys, I did not double check that. That was my error. So when you're working on your pieces, don't do that. Because then that screws up all your measurements. Well, I didn't measure these strips out beforehand, but I did want to make sure that I mean, this was the piece that was barely 6.5 inches. So if my piece is now going wonky, then it's definitely going to be too short. So I may have to put on like an end, which I didn't want to do because I just wanted this to be one way. But that's what happens sometimes when you're not paying attention. And your scraps get out of control. Okay, so let's put another thick piece on here. I'm going to do this thick piece. This actually is not even cotton. It's not quilting cotton. It's almost like a canvas. But I think this piece needs a little bit more stability, so this is a great placement for that right about now. There we go. Alright. And then I just stop sewing. I don't have to sew the whole thing. Make sure the under part of it is caught. Yeah, this is. Alright, look at that. Craziness. Okay. That's not really how I planned it. And I wish I could say, yeah, I planned that, but I did not. And so, anyway, that's just how it goes. So, I'm going to put this little gingerbread down here. This is not, so see how like it pops up even though here, let me show you this way. So even though I ironed it, it's still popping up. So I need to add a little bit of steam because that is bothersome to me. Okay. Okay, now that's a little bit better. That lays more flat. Now these are actually starting to become bothersome also, so I'm just going to trim a little bit bigger than I need to. Just a little bit, and get those out of the way. My gingerbread cookies can go on here now. And because I have directional fabric, I really do want this strip set to go horizontal. Because this is directional fabric. Doesn't matter if I do this. Actually, no, it doesn't really matter. You won't really care in a block, but I kind of do. Steelers, I can read. I love my cat. I can read. Gingerbread guys are like this. So I think it only makes sense if you have directional fabric. Now, this is becoming much smaller than I thought, and I'm starting to run out of fabric already. So let's put on the stars at the top, which I wanted to originally put on. And then, actually, and then we're going to put on the minions. Ah, the minions. I love the minions. They're so cute. Okay, so we open this fabric. Press. I'm going to add a little bit of steam. And then I'm going to trim off this tail. And then let's measure. If I add the minions on, this is actually going to be perfect. All right. I didn't measure it, but it looks like it's coming out just at the right size. So I just took a really great guess. Okay. Now, sew this on. Open it up. Let's press it. Steam. Now let's look at it. This is a rough estimate. Okay, guys, we made it. We made it. This is a rough 6.5 inch horizontal scrappy what am I doing? Crumb. So they're actually crumb strips. So it's a super scrappy crumb strip, 6.5 inch crumb block for our quilting adventure series. Awesome. Thanks for playing along with me today, guys. I'm so happy how this turned out. Just clean up the edges, and it's going to be another block that you can add to this one. Awesome. Thanks for playing along today, guys. You have a great day. Thank you for all your likes, shares, and subscribes. I appreciate your support. If you want to send me more scrappy fabric, I'm happy to make a project with them and showcase them on my YouTube page. All right, or my YouTube channel. Okay, guys. Love y'all. Thanks for playing along. We'll see you soon. Bye.